All right, chemistry kids, let's learn how to draw some Lewis dot structures. So we took this little snippet from your packet, a mathematical way to help draw Lewis structures. So I'm going to take you through these steps with the example down below, and we're going to draw the Lewis dot structure for carbon dioxide. So before I add up all my valence electrons as designated in step A, I want to determine whether or not this is covalent or an ionic compound. We're not going to draw any Lewis dot structures for metallic compounds. So in order to do that, I need to take a look at carbon and oxygen, what type of elements they are. So if I look on my periodic table, both carbon and oxygen are found on the right side of that red staircase that I have here. And so what that means is that they're both non-metals. Two or more nonmetals bonded together tells me it is a covalent compound. And this is really important because if it's not covalent, then we don't need to do any of the steps listed up above. Ionic compounds have their own steps, and I'll show you an example here in just a little bit. So first, it's a covalent compound. So now I'm going to look at step A. I'm going to add up all the valence electrons, and I'm going to look at how many does each type of element, so carbon and oxygen, how many they want and how many they have. And because it's a covalent compound, they're eventually going to end up sharing some electrons. So I'm going to make this little chart here, and it helps my brain to figure out what is going on. So how many does carbon want and how many does oxygen want? So if you look at B, step B up above, most atoms want 8, but there are some exceptions, and you have to remember these. So hydrogen wants 2, beryllium wants 4, and boron wants 6. So carbon is neither one of those 3 exceptions, so it's going to want 8 electrons. So I'm going to have 8 for carbon, and same thing with oxygen. But if you take a look at your subscript here, I need to multiply 8 by 2, and that's going to give me a total of 16 for the oxygens. For this next part, to figure out how many valence electrons they have, we learned last unit that when we look at our periodic table that the group numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, not 14, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 tell us how many valence electrons each element has in its atom. So for carbon, it falls in group 4, so that means it's going to have 4 valence electrons. Oxygen is in group 6, so it's going to have 6 valence electrons each. So I'm going to have 4 for carbon. And then, because that subscript still applies, I'm going to take 6 and multiply it by 2. So that gives me a total of 12. So when I add them up across, now I'm going to compare how many they want in total and how many they have in total to see, well, how many are going to be shared. So 16 plus 8 is going to give me 24 electrons total that all these atoms want to have, but they currently only have 16. So the difference between these two numbers right here, and I am at step C, I'm going to subtract the total electrons minus the valence electrons of what they have. And 24 minus 16 is going to give me 8 electrons shared. And this is really important because this is how much that's going to be in between the atoms. Letter D says to take this answer and divide it by 2. Because in each single bond, there are 2 shared electrons. So in order for me to calculate the number of bonds, I need to divide my total electrons shared by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is going to give me 4 bonds. This is really important because now we kind of know how we're going to set this up. So we go to draw the actual structure of it. We're going to take a look. Now my first element right here is carbon, and carbon's going to be the center atom. Normally the first element that's listed in the compound is the central atom. The only exception are going to be, well, hydrogen for the most part. Sometimes it's beryllium, sometimes it's boron, but for the most part, hydrogen will be the exception to the central atom. Then if hydrogen is the first one, it'll be the following element that comes next in the formula. That would become the central atom. So since carbon is not an exception, it's going to be our central atom. And then I've got two oxygens. I'm just going to put either oxygen on either side. And I need a total of 4 bonds. So I'm going to draw my first bond. So I got 2 dots here. And I'm going to draw a second bond, 2 dots here. Because I have to have a minimum number of bonds shown to connect all the atoms that are listed in that chemical formula. All right, so I just drew 2 bonds. I need 2 more. Well, where else can they go? Well, we're just going to double them up. So a third one's going to go there, and the fourth one is going to go there. Awesome. Once you're done with this, then you're going to take a look at the octet rule. So I don't have any exceptions here. So that means all my atoms actually want to have 8 valence electrons around them. So I'm just going to kind of look at each atom. So I'm going to start with oxygen. Oxygen only has 4. So that means I need to add 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. For a total of 8 electrons or 8 dots around it. 4 of them are being shared, 4 of them are going to be around oxygen itself. I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to erase that so it's not too distracting. Same thing around this oxygen. Well, it looks the exact same where I got 4 electrons being shared. That means I need to add 4 more for a total of 8. Awesome. So now when I look at carbon in the middle, now carbon is sharing a total of 8. So I don't need to draw any more dots around carbon. Carbon is happy, it has its 8. And voila, we're done.